Good morning. It's very early here. It's like 6:15 here. We have to go out to the property this morning, and I wanted to just get this done beforehand because a lot of y'all asked in my last video for me to review these new products for me, because this one is not new. This one is from Kevyn Aucoin. So I got up real early for you. The sun is doing some funky wonky things outside my window because it's so early. So we're just gonna deal with the lighting, deal with my hair being up, because let's be honest, y'all, who's washing their hair right now? I mean, I'm going like 5 days. What? Why do I need to wash my hair? Well, I'm not seeing anybody except y'all, and y'all are a lot of people, but you don't judge, right? All right. Let's go ahead and jump in. I've done my eyes. I have done my corrector. I have not done anything else in my complexion. So let's go ahead and talk about what we are going to be talking about today. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Glass Glow Face Illuminator, and this is the Kevyn Aucoin Stripped Nude Skin Tint. So the Stripped Nude Skin Tint is very new. This one has been out for quite some time, but I just have never gotten around to purchasing it. And let me tell you, I'm glad I did. So let's go ahead and talk about this real quick, because what we're going to do is we're only going to put this on one side of the face. This can be used in a lot of different ways, as all illuminators, liquid illuminators can. You can use it as a primer. You can use it as a liquid highlighter underneath or on top of your foundation. And you can also mix it in with base products, whether you want to mix it in with another primer or mix it in with your actual foundation. I'm going to use it as like a primer today, but because this is so glass glowy, I don't want to completely compromise the finish of this. So I'm only going to put it on one side of my face. So they do have only 3 colors on the Sephora website, but I actually purchased this from the Kevyn Aucoin website because I get a pro discount, and they had more than that. So let me check. Yeah, they have 6 colors on the Kevyn Aucoin website. So if you aren't that crazy about the colors in Sephora, they have them like more options on Kevyn Aucoin. I will link both. I got the color Prism Rose. There is no description for that on the Kevyn Aucoin site, and it just says Radiant on Sephora. Isn't that crazy that an illuminator would be radiant? But I am glad I got this color. It does look a little scary when you first pump it out. So that's the color right there. But once you actually, let me see if I can put some on my other hand. In this out, I see very little color at all. I just see glass skin. Now I hope, I can see in the viewfinder, but with the sun situation, I'm hoping that you can see that reflection, because it truly looks like glass skin. How does it look like that, you say? Oils. It does have oils in the ingredient list. So if you are someone who cannot do oils on your face, who needs to only do certain oils on your face because you have an oily complexion, you're going to want to look at the ingredient list on this to make sure that it's going to work out. If you are someone like me who has a normal, very normal skin type, and you like a lot of illumination, it's going to work for you. Now, I'm going to be using the BH Cosmetics for the actual skin tint, and I don't want to compromise that finish again, so I'm going to use a separate brush for this. You could definitely use your fingers, and I think I'm just going to do it on the right-hand side of my face. So I'm just going to put it like where I would normally put a highlighter. I'm going to stipple it in on the cheekbones, maybe a little bit on the upper lip, because that's easy to say with a brush right on your face, and maybe a little bit up on my temples. I don't necessarily put powder highlight there, but I do like occasionally to put a liquid highlighter up there. So that was one pump, minus, the little demonstration I did on my hand. That's how far it went. I don't like to go in here with liquid illuminators, because even though I don't really struggle with large pores, anything like this is going to make them look a little bit larger than they actually are. So I don't really want to do that. So that is, y'all, that's glass skin. It's pretty amazing. I don't have any other illuminator, and I have a lot of like base products, liquid illuminators, both in my kit and my personal stash, and I don't quite have one that gives that finish. Now we're going to see if you think it actually comes through this skin tint. By the way, I'm sure I already put it up on the screen, but this Glass Glow face is $32 and it is 1 fluid ounce. All right, let's move into the little star of the show that I think y'all are most interested in, and this is the brand new Stripped Nude Skin Tint. Now here's what we're going to say first and foremost about this. The price, it's $42. It is 1 fluid ounce. To be honest, usually skin tints like this, I feel like at least tinted moisturizers come in a little bit of a bigger packaging, like 1.7 ounce, like the Tom Ford that I reviewed on Monday. Laura Mercier comes in a bigger one, I believe. It's just typical for them to be a little bit bigger, but this is just a foundation size of 1 ounce, $42. That's not the issue I have right off the bat with this. The issue I have is the shade range. It's pretty dismal. Now, understand a skin tint being just a sheer to light coverage is most of the time a little more universally forgiving within the shade ranges, meaning it can maybe handle even up to 5 or 6 skin tones within one shade. I get that. I don't know that that's going to be the case with this, but I still think 10 shades is a little small. When you look at the actual shade range, when they show you the colors, it's not very varied. Let's just say that. The darkest is not that dark, and they truly only have like 2 dark colors. The deep 08 is really, in my opinion, looks like just a dark tan. The lightest, I'm not sure how light that's going to be, but on these models' arms, the first 3 colors look pretty much the same. So you're not having much variance in that. So that's the main issue I have with this. I purchased the color Light ST03. I think it's a little light for me. I'm definitely not going to be able to pull this off in the dead of summer, but it works right now, especially if I use like a cream bronzer or something over it. It does have one star review on Sephora, and if I can just put my 2 cents in here, I cannot stand it when people leave reviews based on the shade range alone. Like, we get it. The shade range, it sucks. Like, I understand that, but you haven't tried the product. So please don't leave a review that's going to alter the amount of stars it gets. When people don't read reviews, they just look at stars and then they go past the product because it doesn't have high reviews. That's just my little off on a tangent pet peeve spiel. Let's go ahead and get into the product. What is it? It is a tinted sheer to light coverage foundation that illuminates, smooths, and helps minimize the look of pores for a flawless, natural looking finish. It's a light coverage, natural finish, liquid formulation, best, and I do appreciate this, for normal, dry, and combo skin. They did not include every single skin type in this. It's another pet peeve of mine. Obviously, products are going to benefit certain skin tones over others, and I like how they don't include oily in this. It does have hyaluronic acid, butterfly bush flower extract. Never heard of that. Well, I mean, I've heard of a butterfly bush, but never heard of the extract. Protects against free radicals caused by blue light. Wuzu Yu fruit extract adds luminosity and leaves skin looking more radiant. Now, while this does say it is free of sulfates, SLS, SLES, parabens, phthalates, and mineral oil, it's vegan and cruelty-free. Miss Mandy here did not read the ingredients. In fact, I don't think they were on the Kevyn Aucoin website. Yes, they were. Oh, no. Okay, here's a little false advertising for you. They have key ingredients on the Kevyn Aucoin website, and then underneath it has like the rest of the ingredients per se, but it's not the rest of the ingredients because this sucker has fragrance. And when I first put it on, I was like, oh my goodness, it has fragrance. I don't really have a sensitive nose, but I could smell this. Now, it does not linger, but y'all know my stance on fragrance and products, so I wasn't the happiest about that. Nonetheless, I have been trying it out for y'all, so let's get into it. Lots and lots of chatting today and not so much doing, so let's do. I have been, well, it's not pumping out properly, but when it does, I use 2 full pumps. So that is 2 full pumps. That you see the color there. I'm a little tongue-tied because I'm still sleepy, and you can see the consistency that it's running just a little bit. Now, let's go ahead, and I do like to apply this with a brush. I know I spoke about on the Tom Ford tinted moisturizer that I like that one with fingers, and I find that tinted moisturizers can just be different in how we, like to apply them. I tried this with my fingers. It's not awful, but I just prefer a brush, and I just prefer to stipple it on. So that's what I'm doing with the BK Beauty 106 brush. Stippling it on top. Now keep in mind, this is the Glass Glow side. So it is, I hope it's coming across sheer to light. I can still see some redness through that. If you know me, you know that I'm okay with that. I like for my skin to show through, and if that includes my redness, then so be it. I think once we get everything else on, that's not going to be as obvious. And I've also been stippling my face, so by the time we get done with this side, the redness may have calmed down a little bit on this side. So this side, no skin tint. This side with skin tint. And the glass glow. So let's put it on with no glass glow. Y'all, my fingers are so atrocious. I cannot wait to get my nails done again. I never pick at my cuticles when I have my nails, my like dip manicure on. They're not acrylics, it's just a dip, so it makes it harder for me to like pick at my cuticles. But the second they came off, I've just been going to town, and it looks hideous. I'm well aware. It's one of those subconscious things, you don't realize you're doing it until, oh look, my finger's bleeding. And I hate that I do it for many reasons, but most of all because my oldest daughter does it too, and it's really hard for us to tell her to stop doing it when she sees mommy doing it all the time. That was the entire full 2 pumps to cover my face. I do feel like it's not that much far off, so I'm not going to go too far down my neck. I don't need to put any more product out. But I had a little bit more redness to start with on this side, so I can see a little bit more redness. And this I can still see as well, but that's okay. Now, I personally, let's see. Is that going to work? No. I personally can tell a difference on this side than this side as far as finish. So I do feel like this side is more of a natural finish, which the product claims to have, but you can see, you know, my redness still there. And then on this side, I'm seeing that glass glow come through. So for this product, I do think it comes through. I think you're going to find it more come through like on a full coverage foundation if you mix it in with the foundation. But either way, on this one, it's really pretty. But that gives you an up close and personal view of how it's looking. Now, I'll do this part on camera, even though I talked about this on Monday in my other video, because I did use it then. But this is the Etherealist Supernatural Concealer. I love the Etherealist foundation. I have done many of videos using that. I don't currently have it because I used most of it up and it expired. This has 9 shades. It is $30 and it is 0.15 fluid ounces or 44 milliliters, which I feel like is a good size. I got the color medium EC03 and I like this concealer, which I talked about on Monday. I find that it is a nice solid medium coverage. Now up against this, you know, skin tint, it may look like it's a little bit fuller coverage because it is. So in that case, like if you're wearing a skin tint or a tinted moisturizer or something that doesn't have as much coverage as you may want that day in certain areas, that's when you would go back with a concealer and conceal them. Talked about that many, many, many times. I'm going to put a little bit down my nose, but I'm not going to use anything but what's left on the sponge. I'm not going to actually paint a stripe down, which I normally do because I just want to really focus on that skin tint. All right, makeup is complete. I'm going to give you my final thoughts quickly on these 3 products. So, the Face Glow, or Glass Glow Face. I really enjoyed this product, but here's the thing. After I put the actual tint on my skin, I could still see the face glow through it. Once I put the rest of my stuff on, my highlight tops it, everything like that, I don't feel like when I put my powder on, I didn't feel like it was highlighting enough for me not to warrant putting a powder highlighter on top of it for me. Now, what I find this is the best used for personally is mixing it in with other foundations to give them more of an illuminated finish. And if you're not someone who wears a ton of makeup, say you just like a concealer or not even a concealer, just some mascara and lip gloss, or if you're someone who has those days, I think we all have those days where we're like, just not feeling it today, don't want to put a full face on, there's not really a point to it, then this product is going to look absolutely phenomenal. Put in the areas where you would normally put a highlighter to give you that actual glass skin effect. That is those are the 2 ways that I think are best used, because when you put them under or when you put this under a foundation, at least only in the areas where you're going to highlight, it doesn't show up as much. Now, I'm sure if you plastered it all over your face as a primer, then yes, that would probably show through. But that's when we get into a little bit of a greasy looking situation, at least for me. And again, I said I don't like putting it around my pores. So yes, I love this product, but I love this product in a certain way. So hopefully that gives my review of that. I will go ahead quickly and talk about this because I did talk about it in my last video. I do actually love this. It's not the fullest coverage concealer I have, but that's okay because it wears really nicely over my corrector and under my eyes throughout the day. It doesn't crack, it doesn't crease and crinkle and make me look, 15 years older than I am, which I feel like the eye area will do that before any other part of your face. And so I have actually really been enjoying the concealer. It gets 2 thumbs up for me. Now let's talk about this Stripped Nude Skin Tint. I like it. I'm not like, oh, this is the best thing ever. I don't want to bash it because I do like it. I posted a picture on Instagram that I'll stick in here like last week saying, this is my look of the day. I'm using the Skin Tint. Review coming. And I really like how it looks in pictures. I don't dislike how my face looks right now. I don't. I do think it has more of a natural finish. I use the Well People powder because this is one of those powders that isn't really going to mattify, but it's also not going to make me luminous. So I feel like it keeps the actual true finish of whatever you put on top of it. So I wanted you to be able to see what it looks like once you do put a powder on top of it. Being a skin tint, I feel like it needs to be powdered down if you're going to be putting any other products on top of it in a powder form. I just feel like it kind of pulls up too much. A little too tacky for me to blend out powders on top of it, personally, without setting it down first. All the other powders that I've used with it, it's worked great. Obviously, if you use something like the Charlotte Tilbury or the Jouer, or what else do I have that has a little bit of a tint to it? If you use anything with a tint to it, it's going to give a little bit more coverage. But this Well People is translucent because I wanted you to see how it looks with no additional coverage to the face. I do have a little bit of dryness in between my brows from my Retin-A, and it's sitting great on that. I can still see a little bit of my redness, but it's not over exaggerated. Like, I don't feel uncomfortable with it at all. So overall, I do enjoy this product. I do think that they need to work on the shade range. I was looking through my products before I turned on the camera to see if there was anything else that I would recommend on top of this. And I have a lot of tinted moisturizers that I love. But the first one that I looked at that I did in like a playing with new makeup video, and I haven't really talked too much about it since. A couple of y'all have asked me like on Instagram how I feel about it, is the ColourPop. I think it's the Pretty Fresh tinted moisturizer, and it has 21 shades versus 10, and they go super dark and super light, and they have a nice medium coverage or skin tone. Like they span a wider skin tone variation. It's also $14, doesn't have added fragrance. So those are like pros, and I am definitely not going to say this is my favorite skin tint of all time. I'm not going to return it. I will say also that this is probably my 4th time wearing it, and when I had it sitting on my vanity like this, they kind of settle down. I mean, I was already like right here, so I don't envision this lasting a long time for me. I mean, that's okay. That's not a big deal to me because I have so many foundation and tinted moisturizer products. Honestly, I appreciate that Sephora put on there that it's for normal dry combination. I think even if you have oily skin, if you wanted to use this because you're not big on full coverage, you wanted to give it a try, it could still work out as long as you set it. If you're like super, super, super oily in a specific spot in your face, I mean, the oil is going to break this up. You're going to either want to prime really well or just not use it in general. But for, normal to dry skin, I think this would work fine. It's a little bit thicker in consistency than some of my other tinted moisturizers and even some of my other foundations, like the Lorac foundation that I reviewed a couple of weeks ago is such a thin consistency. It has much more coverage in it. So if you're not going for that, I get it. But because of the thin serum-like consistency, it just works really well, I feel like, on smoother skin and skin that might have some fine lines and wrinkles, because you can really work that product in and not have it kind of sit on top of your face because it is such a thin product. All in all, I don't think this is one you need to run out and get. I think that, or I guess run to your computer and get. I think that once stores open and stuff, definitely go in and get a sample. And if you want to try it, obviously try it. I'm not here to tell you what to buy and what not to buy. I'm just telling you my thoughts on it. Like it, don't love it. As much as some of my others. I don't like being harsh on products, but I want to be honest with y'all. So these, yes, this one, does that translate? Because I don't know what else to say. Hopefully that was helpful. I feel like it was a little all over the place because I was really not trying to bash the product. I just think that it's not the best of its kind. Now, the Etherealist foundation, love it. Love it. And love so many other things from Kevyn Aucoin, but this one was just kind of a meh to me. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Hopefully you enjoyed this review, and thanks for watching. Be sure and like and subscribe before you leave. I hope y'all are all staying sane, healthy, safe, and that you all go out and have a very blessed day.